Hello, this is Chloe here at Inner Whispers. Today I'm going to be doing another video reading, this time with the Incidental Tarot by Holly de Fount. This is a lovely self-published deck and you can find a review of it on my channel. So as I so often do, I will be drawing 3 cards from this deck. The first one represents the situation that we'll be facing in this week of the 28th of April, the week that includes Beltane. The second card represents what we should avoid, and finally the action that we should take or what we should do. So what we have here is a situation, the Quill King. This in traditional decks would be the King of Swords. And what I see this saying is that we may perhaps be feeling quite judged by someone who says that things ought to be rational, ought to be a particular way, that we need to be more logical, more focused, we need to things that we've said we've done perhaps. He's all about truth and justice and doing the right thing and doing the logical thing especially. I also see something here though about it may not necessarily be that this is something really coming from the outside. Often the person who judges us most harshly is us ourselves. And so this could be a warning that we may be tempted to judge ourselves, perhaps even to judge other people, and kind of bringing all of those together. It could be in part that we're tempted to judge the people that we feel are judging us. In any case, in this situation, the Ten of Roses cautions us not to get overly emotional, not to believe that there is some ideal that can be achieved, some perfect happy ever after. Rather, it suggests that there's a closing the door on emotionality, which fits with the Quill King, the swords. And I say that sort of closing the door on emotionality, partly because all of the tens in this deck have a door, and here we see the door, it's in front of us. But I don't see it being a door welcoming us in. It feels more like a door which says, yes, there is lots of emotion here, there's a lot of potential for emotion, but it's time to close the door on that. So what instead should we be doing? That card is the Emperor. We need to be very structured, very organised, very practical, perhaps quite responsible. Think about what the effect of our actions will be on others. I see this less about being authoritarian, telling other people what to do, but in this particular reading being more about ourselves, creating a structure for ourselves so that emotionality doesn't get in our way, so that we can be rational and logical. And a lot of that comes from creating a plan and then sticking to it. So that's the more sort of practical, grounded side of the Emperor, which will help us to apply ourselves in a Quill King manner and help us to avoid the emotionality of the Ten of Roses. Today I feel inspired to also draw a card from my favourite goddess deck, the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky and Hrana Yanto. So I'll just do a quick draw with that as well. Looking at what goddess energy will accompany us in this week of Beltane. And the card that we get here is very appropriately Freya. This is the goddess whom Michelle Skye in her book Goddess Alive actually associates with Beltane, so that's absolutely perfect. So this says to me that this week we should enjoy our sexuality, if that's something that we feel okay with, that we should celebrate this time of fruitfulness. It's not a time of harvest, but rather a time when new things can be conceived, and that we lay the groundwork with that emperor structure, we lay the groundwork for abundance in the future. In the past, people would jump over a bonfire at Beltane and sometimes even chuck their kids across as a way of asking for the goddess to bring them abundance, fertility, and a good harvest in the end. So, as I say, this is a time for conceiving things. It's a time for fire and passion and inspiration. And that's the spark which then will need the Emperor's solid foundation to plan and structure some of the Quill King's rationality so that it will eventually bear fruit for us. That's my reading for this week. I hope you found it useful and that you'll come back again soon. In the meantime, please listen to your own inner whispers.